however you want.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right.
Hoodie season.
How you doing, Maj?
I'm wonderful. We at the academy. We learning. We getting good press. We getting good information out to people. I can't be mad at that at all.
Okay.
Complaining, it don't fix nothing. So.
Okay. How about your GoFundMe? What do you think about that?
I think that it's good. I think that we almost at halfway there.
Okay.
I think that that's a clear indication that people are putting their money where their mouth is at. You know what I'm saying? I also like the fact that people outside of just doing that are also getting the hoodies, getting the t-shirts and things like that. But that, to me, that's the best way to do it and have a gauge of if people want to. If people didn't want to, I see people that have GoFundMe pages for, you know, whatever. I might think it might even be a bigger thing, and they sit on $8 for however long, you know. So this is a clear indication to me, one, that we can show transparency, and two, that this is something that people want. Even if it's not, they're not donating for me to come just to their city. Mm-hmm. You know, they're donating because we like what you're doing, and if you happen to make it to our city, great, but here's $50, you know. So I can't get mad at that at all. Okay. You know?
How has the local response been?
It's been love. The people that don't like what we're doing generally locally, they just try to avoid us. Okay. You know, and that's fine, because neglect is my ally. Just leave us alone, you know. But other than that, those people, for the most part, is overwhelming support. You know, places like, you know, the Philly Firearm Academy, places like, you know, different firing ranges and things like that. They generally get behind what we're doing because they see that this is a demographic that's missing. You know, and we could, especially in this particular election year, you know, we might take a hit, a serious hit, you know, and they understand that the urban demographic has to get behind it, you know. So the support that I get from people that are in the know, for me reaching people that we know aren't in the know and trying to bring them over to this side or even present the information, it's been supportive and hella love. Like, I have yet to get pushback from the community. Again, the people that just disagree, they just don't say anything, and that's fine. But for the most part, it's, we love what you're doing. Please keep going. That's why we get so much press. If the press don't like you, not only are we going to ignore you, we're going to try to, you know, smear you. You know, so for the most part, it's love. It's love.
So you mentioned the press. Are you getting more press now?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind?
I was on Hannity.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, we got the email. Mm-hmm. And my team was like, yo, they want you to come to the Democratic National Convention and do Hannity. I'm like, man, if you don't get out of here. And they was like, no, really, here's the email. So it's spreading. And because certain truths are, you can't stop them. You know, it's like you can't fake energy, you know. And it's the same thing. It's like this truth is resonating, and that's the primary reason why the press is coming. Because of the fact that the general public is tired of what's happening. The general public does not trust the government, and they shouldn't. There should be a business transaction, and we should be in charge of those transactions. The general public does not, they want more limited government. They want to, you know, they want the power to be back in the hands of people, and that's across all racial backgrounds, sexual orientations, financial tax brackets. That's why the press is happening, because some of these people Hannity's a millionaire. You know, the brother that was just here may not be a millionaire, but they think exactly the same in that regard. You know, he was Hispanic, Hannity's white, total different backgrounds, all with the same issue, because we see what's going on. They've just yet to see somebody that can go into communities genuinely. I'm not afraid of being in Chicago. No, I'm from North Philly. It's the same to me. You know what I mean? And knowing that someone that can, you know, talk to those communities and translate the information and put them on that path, the press understands that is a story that has not presently been done to this degree, and especially this fast. You know, so yeah, we're getting press. National. I just was in America's First Freedom. Shouts to Cam Edwards from NRA TV that wrote that article. You know what I mean? And their readership is 2.2 million people. You know, so it's just the truth. It's just the truth. It's not no special thing. It's just the right truth that the general public believes in at this time. It's synchronicity. You know?
You mentioned the NRA. Mm-hmm. What's their reaction been at an official level?
I don't know.
Anything?
They had me on it. If they didn't rock with what I was doing, I wouldn't be on all of these
Okay.
platforms. That's what I think.
Okay.
I mean, and I think that's a good start. I would like to see them get more behind what we're doing with trainers, with resources, you know, and that actually would help the NRA and the I say this all the time. The NRA is getting beat up on the PR side of it because because they didn't know how to approach urban areas to a certain extent, but their lack of having a resource there. The other side is saying, oh, they don't care about people of color. They don't care about black people. They don't care about the urban environment. They don't care about poor white people. They don't care. They're doing that. And the NRA is getting beat up. I represent an opportunity for them to put their money up, you know, where their mouth is, just like Coleon Noor did, who gave us $1,000 before I ever met him. You know, so on one level, yes, it's an absolutely great start what the NRA is doing as far as allowing me to have certain platforms. But the next step would be, hey, what do you need? How can we help here? Blue training guns, you know, or whatever. But that's not really their responsibility totally. That would be cool. Right. That would be great. You know, that would be beneficial for both sides, for both parties. But that ain't their responsibility, and I'm not expecting a handout. I'm expecting the people to support.
You know what I love about you? No matter what, I don't know. Have you ever been unoptimistic about anything? I mean, you really approach everything from an optimistic perspective.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
You have to, because that's how entitlement sets in.
Okay.
When you think that they have to. They are, you know, if we're using the NRA for an example, they're the largest and the biggest in the game of the game that we're all playing.
Right.
They have done their work before I was born. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
No one can challenge their commitment to the Second Amendment. Where the question could be is that area, but I create an opportunity where I got to look at it as if, okay, well, what if they wanted to, but just didn't have someone like me show up?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
No different than, because I wouldn't want someone to preconceived notion me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Very fair.
You know what I mean?
Love
So
that. Yes.
maintaining that level of objectivity is how I try to, and that level of objectivity is what helps me maintain my optimism until I know. Because then after a certain amount of time, because it'll be, okay, well, y'all didn't.
Right. Okay.
We're making headway. We're making progress. We've done 3 cities on a bare bones budget, and that $25,000 goal for the GoFundMe page is your catering budget for some events.
Oh yeah, easily.
So after a certain amount of time, then we look at the facts, and then my approach based on the actual what was done may change.
Okay.
So if you ask me that question March, I might go, no, they haven't helped. I mean, because I see the benefit of me being on their platforms for them, you know.
Of course.
But
and for you,
and for me, you know. So you got to maintain that optimism because you don't know, and then when you know, the optimism will either be accurate. Or it was like, oh, I was wrong there. Cool, move on. We still gonna get the work done. Because the people need this. They need it.
So then let me recap. Then, so if somebody proves themselves to be a fool, you're not gonna suffer a fool lightly.
No,
you know.
not at all.
To the extent that they're not actively getting in your way, you've gotten more from them than you had when you started. So that's a positive, right?
Right. And to give someone, you know, a voice is powerful.
Yes.
You know, to allow, they could totally ignore me. They can totally ignore me. And I'm still going to do the work that I'm going to do. I have social media, you know.
That's
however, right. So it's like, for me to think that they owe me something, they don't. I have to step my weight up. Now, when my weight is at a different level, you know, then it becomes, okay, guys, you know, but nah, I mean, no one is obligated. It's no different than if I can present all of the information to somebody. You are not obligated to like firearms now.
Correct.
You have the right to be like, nope, don't like them, don't want to be around them, and I'll respect that. I won't even bring my firearm around you.
Right.
And in turn, please don't try to infringe on my ability to have one.
Right.
Or a few.
Right.
You know, so it's just maintaining a certain level of objectivity and positive understanding, because the goal is the goal. You know, the goal is, you know, and maybe as crazy or arrogant as it may seem, maybe I'm doing something that the NRA can't. They're big. They're huge.
Mhm.
They're huge. You
It's
can't
possible.
just touch these cities and,
Yeah.
you know, so, or they just may go, we don't really know how yet, you know,
Right.
so, whatever.
Do you think, I mean, be honest, do you think there's any racial component to why people might react to you differently?
Generally, and you mean more just
Do you
like
think
the general
people, I mean, you know, I'll just say it. Do you think people are afraid of a black guy with a gun?
I think older people are,
Okay.
or have been,
Okay.
you know. I think, not to keep harping on the NRA, but
No, I understand.
I think the leadership that was in the NRA that co-signed I'm paraphrasing, co-signed the Mulford Act, I think race played a part in that then, but those guys for the most part are dead and gone.
Okay.
I think that they now see that, okay, the leadership now, Mr. Pierre and all those other different people, Antonio Okafor, you know, and even not their executive level, but just the diversity that's being shown indicates to me that you're trying to turn the corner.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But as far as them, I think a long time ago, maybe.
Okay.
But then that gets countered with, okay, well, they also helped the Deacons of Defense.
Yeah.
You know, they also stood up for, you know, civil rights in the 60s. So you got to, like, both sides, you have to be objective and put both of those on the table.
Okay.
So saying that to say, do I think that the racial component of, before you talk to me, before
Right.
you hear me talk,
Right.
I understand. I'm from North Philly. I got these long locks.
Right.
You don't know what I am. I got this big beard. Is he Muslim? Is he this? Is he that? Is he Rastafarian?
Mhm.
I break your preconceived notions and stereotypes.
Okay.
So because of that, it puts you in a weird space that now you have to deal with me based on, you know, and then we talk and then you go, oh, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, he's actually a really smart guy and he knows
Right.
how to work guns.
Right.
What a concept.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And then
Oh,
that-
and he's black.
Right.
You know,
and
it's
then,
like.
and then that, the beauty of that is that makes the person have to evaluate, well, why did you think that I wasn't going to be able to do all of this?
Precisely.
Then that person has to look in their mental mirror and then evaluate themselves because I'm just being me.
Right.
You know, now, when I held that mirror up to you based on being me, now you should reevaluate yourself. But I think for the most part, the racial component of it is older, 60, 70-year-old
Okay.
Strom Thurmond type of dudes.
Okay.
You know, but
Strong was probably in his 90s by now.
Not-
I mean, he's dead.
He's
but
dead now, but
He
you know what
would
I'm
be
saying?
like probably almost 100 even.
that
But yeah,
mentality
it's crazy.
type of dude. You know what I mean? But for the most part, they dinosaurs, and can I cuss?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure, yeah.
They dinosaurs, and I don't really give a fuck about them.
Right.
You know, if you're in the business of maintaining ignorance, racism,
Mm-hmm.
and that old guard, fuck you. I don't really care. I'm waiting for you to die because
Right.
your mentality is blocking this progress that we actually can make America great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the funny thing about it is they usually, we make fun of it on my social media. Saturday morning hate
Yep.
mail.
Yep.
You know what I mean? These white guns will blow your ass away. Well, I've never seen a white gun unless it was painted, but okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Epoxy coat or something.
You know what I'm saying?
that
So
you,
it's like, we make fun of that because
Right.
those guys are harmless. The people those people are harmless. That's a laugh. After you be in a shootout a few times, everything else is just kind of like loud noise. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I was
So-
never in a shootout, but I was a witness to a running gun battle through the streets of Paris.
Yeah.
And it was the trippiest thing ever because I'm walking along and I hear this tink,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that was a 22. I'm
Right.
looking around going, what the fuck?
Who's shooting a 22
and
in
then,
Paris?
and then I'm like, and I heard it again, and it's
Right.
basically ricocheting off brick buildings down the street I'm on.
Yep.
I'm like, fuck, I dove behind a dumpster
Yeah.
and I just let the shit go by, but I mean, there was shit flying all over, You'd be shocked at how far a 22 goes on a brick alley, man.
Right. And when there's nothing downrange to stop this,
Right.
it's like it's all over.
It was all over the street. I'm like, I could get killed like 3 different times by the same bullet.
So in that experience, if somebody says something to you in the social media world, that shit is
Right.
nothing.
Right.
That shit is nothing. So and they're exposing their hand. This dude told me last week on Facebook. I promise you, I was in he took one article that I was talking about and explaining that that it's not explaining what a clip was, but it kind of got lost out of context. And he said, well, it's first of all, it's a magazine, and I said, well, and then he went further, this is racist. And I'm like, well, actually, in the article, what I was explaining was the difference between a clip and a magazine. And blah, 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 blah. And he went into this whole thing. There is no difference. Then it exposes how violent you blacks are. And I'm like, dude.
I call it a clip too.
But at times, and here's the thing. I'm saying, okay, there is a difference.
Right, okay.
But you're yelling at me.
Actually, I don't know the difference. I'll have to have you explain it.
I will.
Yeah.
The difference in that scenario is you're saying that there is no difference between a clip and a magazine. A magazine is for the entire, your cartridges. Okay. And you fill them in there. A clip is like a clip that holds a certain amount of cartridges that you can add to.
Like a stripper.
Right.
Okay,
Boom.
okay.
Exactly. So I'm explaining that to him, and not only
so that is an improper. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So
because
I
would need a stripper clip to slam something into my SKS,
Boom.
but if I'm replacing my magazine in my gun, I'm putting all the bullets in at once. I'm not pulling a stripper out. Yeah.
So you're wrong, and you're calling me blacks are violent. So you're exposing. So now we get to laugh.
Well, how did he connect that to racist?
Because he associated Black Guns Matter. The title is Black Guns Matter. Your racism makes you think that I'm talking about black
people, right?
Never mind the fact
and it's a play on Black Lives Matter.
But here's the thing. Never mind the fact that so many, on all of my social media, there's white guys that bought the hoodie that says Black Guns Matter.
Right.
There's Spanish
which I will
guys,
do on my way out the door.
Do you get what I'm saying? There's so many of these things that you not only are you wrong about the difference between this thing, you're racist, you've exposed yourself, and you're not even doing a modicum of research to scroll down my Instagram or Facebook page. So those things, the racial component definitely is in there to a certain extent, but it's people that's backwoods, ignorant, and they've made an emotional commitment to remaining ignorant. That's biased. I have made an emotional commitment to staying wrong. I'm biased. And those people, die. Get out of the way. Or evolve.
I was thinking that exact word because, that's not a position where your organism can survive the long haul.
Right.
You can't be stupid and continue to go through the world.
Meteor hits Earth, it gets cold, the dinosaurs can't get warm. They die.
Right.
If you guys would have just figured out, if your Tyrannosaurus arms would have just figured out how to make fire and get in the cave, you might have been here now. But you were unable to evolve and adapt to the situations. And A.W.R. Hawkins said something to me a couple of weeks ago. He said, we're, in the Second Amendment community, we're in a change. Clearly things are changing. We can either be a part of that change or stand on the sideline and let the change happen. Now, any organization that does not want to embody millions of people in the urban demographic it's tug of war. New hands on the rope to pull the wind onto our side. If you choose to stand on the sideline, you're actually part of the problem.
I agree. Yeah.
Because we need more hands on deck, And to see this change, it makes me go, well, why would you stand on the sideline? If you know that we need more hands. Is it because there's hands of color there too? Then, okay, you fit that old school mold that we're trying to get rid of. And you know what? Not only don't get on the sidelines, either get in the stands or get out of the stadium. Because the rumble that we in right now, we're talking about fights or a Second Amendment that can preserve belief systems, that can preserve value systems, that can preserve human life, that can limit government and get us back to the principle that this Bill of Rights is human rights that existed that is not given by government. And this Constitution is to limit government so we can have more power back in the hands of the people. And if you want to let your biases or your prejudices or your racisms, black, white, green, I don't give a shit, if you want to let those things be stronger than the fight that we're in, fuck you. Right. So the racist component, and I want to say this too. I want to say that to my black Second Amendment friends as well. I got white homies. That's it. You know what I mean? That will take bullets for me. That will shoot people for me. I have that. And Jen Jock from bearingarms.com has on record said, I will take a bullet for him because of the work and the importance of what he's doing. It's documented. And vice versa. So we got to get outside, and I think the opposition plays a very masterful chess game in keeping us separated based on those things. Because then you can't have power to all people.
Correct.
It's everybody looking at each other's side, as opposed to going, these are my brothers and sisters in arms, and you are the opposition. You are the tyrant. You know, so.
When everybody's getting pushed around by the government, they're all looking around really confused. If they all just kind of looked at each other and said, wait, we got numbers.
Yep. It's literally the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
Everyone's babbling and not communicating with each other.
And it keeps us apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I drove 6,300 miles. I checked as I pulled up here.
Mm-hmm.
You were one of 10 people I had to meet on my trip around America.
Word.
Okay.
Word.
And so, imagine it. 10 years ago, would an old white guy from San Diego have met you on Twitter and driven 6,300 miles to meet you?
Nope, and that's the beauty. That's why they're so afraid and trying to control the internet next.
Yeah.
Because now you can't, what are you going to say? All of my donations, most of the people that I've interacted with are through social media. We don't need your old guard that you control of regular, traditional media outlets. We're going to reach each other. We're going to agree and disagree respectfully. We're going to say, hey, I feel you here, but I don't feel you here. We don't need you anymore. So you've actually made yourself obsolete by not joining this wave and evolving. So absolutely, and they see it. I can't wait for the general public to catch on to that extent, and that's just a matter of time and me continuing to do this work, because it's fast. You know what I mean? And there's no middlemen no more. It's like from in the hood. It's like a middleman is a person in a drug reference.
Right.
If I want to get a pound of weed.
Right.
If this guy's in the middle, he gonna overcharge me. If I can just get around him and get to the connect, I can get the good price, and that makes my business a lot better.
Right.
And it's the same thing. The middleman is just, we don't really need you. You don't really sell it. You're just middlemaning me from the wholesale actual cheapest price, and you cutting into my profit. It's the same thing. The middleman, the 1% that's playing this little sick, twisted game, you're just trying to restrict and middleman me and costing me more to get to my freedom. You fucking the wholesale price up on my liberty. You know what I mean? You add more restrictions onto it, so that's falling though. That's falling quick. I see it. I see it. It's no, my demographic, my hood is receiving the information. And the beautiful thing about what we do is I try to connect them with people that know, because I'm not going to middleman them. I'm not going to make my people think that, I'm the end-all be-all. That's why I link people with Jose from the Philly Firearm Academy. He's trained in all of the NRA disciplines. Y'all need to go see him. My ego is not trying to middleman, come talk to me. I'm not the best lawyer. I'm not the best shooter. I'm not the best anything. I'm a well-rounded, strong person that's an advocate to get this demographic that has been neglected for however long on that path. And that's how we're going to win.
You mentioned lawyer. Are you a lawyer?
Not at all.
No, okay.
Wholly honest.
Okay.
But I mean, outside of...
No, but running an organization like this, you end up being kind of a bush lawyer in
right.
the end.
And then going,
just to protect your own ass.
Right. Hey, get with Mike Giaramata, that wrote literally wrote the book on gun rules in Pennsylvania. Get with him. If I'm in Georgia, which I'll be next week, these are the people Georgia carry that you should link up with. Okay. And even though these people are groups and organizations and individuals that are in the same town, the demographic that we're talking to has no idea. They just know that something's wrong. And it's my job to just pull them out of the matrix a little bit. You know what I mean? And put them on a path. And then set them up with a Morpheus. Or set them up with, those type of people. That's what my job is. I know what my lane is.
Okay.
And that is what allows me to, get experts, have a little bit more free time for myself to do some of the things that I like to do, these deplorable things that I do in my spare time, you know what I'm saying? But that's what keeps it, everybody has a role to play, and we build, strong armies are built that way.
Right. You mentioned politics a few times. What's your take on where we're at right now? Who do you think is going to win? Who do you want to win?
I don't want neither one of them to win.
Okay.
I think that let me be easy when I say that.
That's fine.
Someone has to win.
Right. Do you see either side being useful to you in the end?
From what Trump says about the Second Amendment, Yeah.
Okay.
What Hillary says, clearly you're not. You talking about exploring Australia as an option.
Yes.
Nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, clearly. You know what I mean? You're talking about, I'm the person at the age when you made the statement about super predators. Mm-hmm. You're talking about me in my ignorant teenage years.
How old are you now?
I never talk about
Okay,
it.
no, that's fine. That's fine.
Let me tell you why. Because when people find out how young I am, they don't take me serious anymore.
That's fine.
So I usually tell people I'm like 60.
Right.
Because then they'll go, okay, well, it sounds like it. But I'm in the age bracket that I'm the guy that you were talking about.
Yep.
You know, and there's things about, Trump that I go, yeah, I'm in alignment with you, what you say.
Right.
Say in an election year, going into an election. I'm in alignment with what you're saying about that. And as far as the Second Amendment goes, I'm not in alignment with being so far removed from the people for decades that you don't know how to present truths that can be packaged a little bit better. Okay. Some of that is his appeal, right? Which is, he's not playing the politician game. He says what he says, and I can honor a certain amount of that, right? But I have Mexican friends that are not rapists, that are not the criminals. Correct. So that part, and I think that's healthy to be able to find areas with each, politician that you can agree and you can disagree. Mm-hmm. And I personally am a registered Republican. Okay. Does that mean I'm going to straight up just go vote the party? Doesn't necessarily mean that. Right. And a president doesn't. First of all, the popular vote does not determine who the president is. Correct. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people don't understand that, which is terrifying to me.
This is horrifying.
Yes.
The members that are designated to choose for their constituency has no obligation to vote in the exact same way that their constituency, if overwhelmingly all of us said, hey, we want Trump, hey, we want Clinton, they could just go, nah. And that's not public service to me. Right. So saying that to say that the presidency part of it, I don't see them having a direct result other than maybe which Supreme Court judges they could pick or may have an inclination to pick. Other than that, man, I'm more of a city, state, local politics guy in areas where you live, because each state is its own sovereign entity. Correct. We've been kowtowing and begging the federal government and the Federal Reserve for things for so long that we got away from that. Each state, this is the United States of America. Each state, each one has its own governing body. When you started being a slave to, we'll print your money out, which is what a lot of the more intelligent presidents of years past said, hell no. Centralize the money? Are you kidding? Hell no. So, in alignment with that philosophy, a president ain't really got too much to do with what we dealing with. And that's poor white people, poor Asian people, poor Spanish people, poor black people, middle class, Your state should be involved politically there if you're going to be just as hype about every 4 years and what's going on, So each one of those guys, I don't believe them. She's a horrible actress. I think he's a little out of touch. And we got to stop waiting for presidents to come fix our hood. That's leaning on the government to fix your problem. And that's how we got in this mess in the first place. That's not what the Founding Fathers was on. It just wasn't, So I ain't tripping over that. I would encourage everybody to be more involved. Who's your city council person? Who's your alderman? Do you know what an alderman is? You know what I'm saying? Who maintains who's in charge of your public school system? Right where you live, and I think that's much more impactful for how we live, in America. And then we can start to tick it up. Then we can start, do you know who the person is that's responsible for choosing your president in your state? How does that process work? Then we can tick it up and put people in that area, and then we can start to hold those people accountable. Yo, all of us said we wanted this guy, this girl. Why did you pick the other one? So that's how I think we build power. And that's what makes me dangerous. Because I know these things and I don't have no problem telling everybody from the hood, And that's how they win, because they kept everybody from our hoods, rural, suburban, whatever. When I say hood, I mean people that ain't rich. Most of us, by and large, are not rich.
Right.
So I represent a threat because I can start informing people. And it's not really a threat. These are basic American principles.
Education. What a concept.
What a concept.
We got smarter people. How that could really mess things up, you know?
So, both of those guys and girl, they gonna do what they gonna do. But, nah, I ain't tripping.
You mentioned aldermen. Have you had any response whatsoever from your local government?
Nah, they afraid of me. Because Philadelphia is a very anti-gun town.
Why do you, okay, but, I mean, if we take you honestly at your word, you are giving people the tools to not get themselves killed.
Yep.
How is that threatening?
It affects business.
Why?
There's business in prison industrial complex.
Ah, okay.
This business, if I can change a knucklehead at 18 and put him on a path. Now he's got his concealed carry license. He's a trained shooter. It changes the mentality. It makes good citizens.
Oh, yeah.
At 19, 20, 21. Man, I like going to the range. I like carrying my firearm. I'm not getting into anything that's going to, just like a car. I'm not driving drunk. You kidding? My pops just bought me this car. I'm 16. You tripping? I'm doing the right thing. Right. That affects bail money. That affects lawyer fees. That affects judges. I represent a threat to that matrix by informing people and waking them up. So in an anti-gun town like Philadelphia, I'm not talking to him. And that's fine, because neglect yet again becomes my ally. Right. Because if you don't assist me, I will return as your conqueror.
Or at the very least, I will go around you.
And I will go around
you out.
And I will cut you out. And I will tell everybody they didn't help us.
Because you're middleman again, right?
Because you the middleman. And I'm going, look, y'all don't believe me? Look how he voted here. He tried to take away a basic human right away from you. Tried to circumvent not only state constitution, historic American constitution. And this is what, now tell them why you did that. Or you can smarten up, evolve, and say, you know what? He's talking about education. He's talking about training. He's talking about responsible ownership. He's talking about these things. You can get down or lay down. So they have a vested interest. I would like to see some of their tax returns. I would like to see some of their offshore accounts. But I mean that's a scathing indictment.
In good time.
You know what I mean? The WikiLeaks is still with
yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Once Assange gets done with this, he's got another task.
So, on that tip, I understand their reason for not. They mimic little things that we do, though. They pinch off little things. I had a conversation with the DA, Seth Williams, who's now about to come under indictment, ironically. We go to the same gym, the Bellevue Sport Clubs. And we'll talk about these things, and then they'll just come do a community gun lock giveaway. That is not enough. It's a photo op. And I'm familiar. I'm in front of cameras a lot. Right. So, okay.
You see a photo op when you know it, right? Yeah, you know it, right. Yeah.
And I get it, but that doesn't really help. So I get it, so they pinch off little things of what we're doing because the press, they read the story, they can pretend like they didn't read the story. I was on the cover of the Philadelphia Weekly last week. You know what I mean? They'll read and pinch off what they deem safe or secure. But security is the opposite of freedom. Prisons are really secure. So I see what they're doing, and it's cool. I mean, the people see it too. The people see it. You can't fool all of the people all of the time. And I represent the exposure of the ignorance. That we pull in the curtain. That Wizard of Oz is just this little guy that is not really this big, great, and powerful Oz. They're lying to the people. They're lying straight up and down to get whatever they're getting. Eagles tickets, who knows? I don't care. But if you're talking about the general public and maintaining safety, you have to change the dynamic and the definition of what it means to be a patriot, a citizen. You have to change there's a standing theme about Texas. Do not mess with Texas because they have an understanding of firearms and their homes and it's secure. We can do the same thing with Philadelphia. We can do the same thing with Pennsylvania. We can say, hey, don't mess with those, and watch crime drop. Watch robberies drop. If you change the mentality, because young people are now getting trained and responsible, but then you can't control those people. When you have law and order because people are upstanding citizens, you don't have to have control. The people will control themselves. Less government. We don't need you. But now some of those jobs are going to go, and you actually have to find something productive to do, as opposed to just middleman in the people consistently. You know, so I get it. I mean, I've connected the dots. I'm out of that matrix. I'm out of it, and I'm just waking more people up. That's all.
What popped you out?
Murder.
Where?
Everywhere.
Everywhere in your hood?
Yeah. The death. Like, the same.
How many friends that you grew up with died?
I don't even know anymore.
I mean, super, like close friends. Like my childhood friend could be dead in your world. I mean, like many of them.
A couple of months ago, a month or so ago, I buried 3 friends in a week.
Oh my God. All firearm violence?
Violence. One was a stabbing, 2 was a shooting. You can't.
Right here?
Yeah, in Philly. You can't.
How far from here?
A mile.
Mile.
We at Spring Garden, which is going towards Center City, you know, where the money at. Okay. But there's some money in North Philly too. You know what I mean? Depending on how you get it. But we're not far from North Philly.
Right.
You know, and you can't. This ain't something that you could outrun.
Right.
This isn't something that you, even me getting, because I've thought about that too. Well, I have the intelligence, articulate ability, and the salesmanship to get rich. I know that without a doubt.
Right.
I could get rich, $1 million, and after a certain point, one of these companies are going to come try to buy me. I'm aware of that. Right. I represent a gateway into a demographic.
I strongly believe that, and I hope that's the case. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I could take the money and start lying and just escape.
Right.
I'll know too much.
Right.
You know, because I know there's 10 million other people that are still dying based on things that can be fixed. You know, so you can't out money this. It's too late for me. Right. You know, so you have to stand there and rumble. And I love my hood. I love Philly. I love Philly. I almost cried the Eagles lost this game last Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We was up 10. To Dallas.
That's football, man. Yeah, to Dallas of all people.
You understand? I love my hood. North, South, Uptown, West Philly, it doesn't matter. I love the East Side, Kensington, I love it. How much of a hypocrite and a scumbag would I be to know this information? Know that there is an attempt. That it's not a theory. I know that there is an agenda to emasculate, incarcerate, murder, and population control my demographic. How much of a pussy am I if I don't rumble? If I just get my little 500,000, which ain't a lot of money, right, and just dip out? You know, so seeing those losses and seeing those murders, and seeing, even if not to the extent of murder, seeing some of my homies catch the same cases. The same cases. It's like, damn, you didn't... Bill Burr made a joke about it in one of his stand-ups where he was like, yo, I just wish so many of the rappers, if they had just like one white friend that would be like, are you kidding me? Dude, you gotta, come on, just do the paperwork. And it's like, yo, that joke was funny because it's so true. It's like, if you just had the information. I've had friends that 21 years after doing this work, 21, 22 years ago, young guys, and they like, yeah, you know, I'm like, oh, word, you got the Glock. Yeah, I told you, yeah, man, I remember you said Glock 19 would be easy for da-da-da-da-da. It's in the sweet spot of concealed, da-da-da. All right, cool, word. When's your license to carry come back? Oh, no, I bought it legally. Right, I get that. But you're carrying it on your hip in Philadelphia where you have to have a license to carry. Well, I didn't know that. Yeah, well, you about to spend $50,000 if you get caught with this. Let me come on, bring you down to Jose. Work through this process. You don't have any felonies. You're good. It's $20, $30. They catch that case. Now you got the felony. Now you're dealing with the law. Now you can't get your license to carry. You're still going to carry the burner after you get out. Revolving door. So creating things that solves that based on that level, lower level, and the murders, you know, conflict resolution. That's why it's a part of our programming. Right. You know, because yo, you shot that man for no reason. Like, that's not what he said. He said, oh, well, I know. It was too late. You know what I mean? So all of these things we develop, problems are just opportunities for us to be solutionaries. Mm-hmm. You know, so seeing those problems, I just go, okay, boom, and then more information, and I'm further and further and unplugging out of that matrix, and I'm going, oh shit, it's actually nice on this side. You know what I mean? And I see y'all still plugged in that jelly stuff. So I gotta drain your thing, unplug you, and then, you know, and it's spreading. And then when they wake up, they go, man, we gotta get, we do. We gotta get more people out of this jelly stuff, you know, and we move forward. But that was the Kickstarter for me, just seeing the pain in the same cases. When it's that repetitive, it's scientific. It's not an accident.
Right.
You know what I mean?
These people have basically are in this spot, and it's a loop. It's like Groundhog Day for them. Right?
Yep. It's just wake up, the same thing, and it's like, oh, what are we missing? In that movie Groundhog Day, he had to do something to get to the next day. Yep. It's the same thing. What can we do here? And, you know, and that's how we created, you know, Black Guns Matter. Okay.
You mentioned the Eagles. Have you ever met a player? Have you ever had a chance to talk to them about what you're doing?
I've met a lot of them just in passing. Yeah. However, I understand that sports athletes are entertainers are funny. Mm-hmm. Even though in our mind the money's already made, you got the $10 million. Right. They're nervous of backlash, and so I don't really put them in too many spaces. Some of them I know very well. Right. But I don't even if you don't have the same view on life, you have more to risk. You might not lose anything, but you have more to risk in being close to me. So as my friend, I just go, all right, cool. It's just like my homies are still in the street. They still sell all of the drugs. Right. They know, Maj, you're doing something. If they're my friend, they would go, nah, Maj, thanks for the invite, but I got this federal case coming up.
I gotcha.
You know, so a lot of those athletes is the same way. So I don't judge them because of that. In their own time, you know, maybe towards later in their career when the contract guaranteed money is there, maybe they'll, you know, wear a hoodie, you know, or something like that, because that's a voice, you know. But I understand the position that they're in. I just don't, my life is as such where I don't have to suffer from any of that. Right. Because I don't give a shit. And I don't have, now I might give a shit if Nike was, which they should, sponsor me. Right. Then I might, who knows? I've never been in that scenario. I don't think I would, you know, but I'm objective, this is like we were talking about earlier, I'm objective and fair-minded enough to respect your ability or your choices. I don't have to agree with that choice, you know. So a lot of those guys, the guys that got traded, you know, that lived in, you know, Liberty Place, good buddies of mine, you know, but that I just happen to, you know, come across. But I understand that the rock and the hard place that they're in. And then that other side, those billionaires, they do a very good job of making sure that you understand that this is a rock and a hard place. You know, they fined Dwayne Wade $25,000 last week. Mm-hmm. He hit a good shot and he did this. The NBA fined him $25,000. Right. I don't want to put nobody in that position.
Well, here's the irony that I see. You know, the NFL this year is experiencing a boycott. Mm-hmm. They're seeing ticket sales go down. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've watched one NFL game this whole season. Mm-hmm. I grew up playing football. Mm-hmm. Football was my love. Right. You know, but you know, Colin Kaepernick sits down for the you know, the Star Spangled Banner. I mean, and I respect his freedom of speech, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. But in his speaking about it, he talks about how he wants to make a difference, and you know, and specifically mentioned Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. You know, and I mean, it seems to me that, you know, somebody like Colin Kaepernick could write you a $500,000 anonymous check. Mm-hmm. He'd feel good about himself. It wouldn't hurt him at all because, you know, I mean,
the money's already made.
Right. You know, and he wouldn't have any kind of, like, you know, weird taint of association with you because it's anonymous. Right. Why do you think that ever happens?
I think if Colin Kaepernick knew what I was doing, I think he would. Okay. He supposedly gave away $1 million to something.
I know. You know, and I look at your $25,000 and I go, that's cool. But honestly, I think we should have blown through $25,000 a long time ago. Right. and we should be looking at like 500K or a million,
right.
you know, and I mean, you know, to me, I mean, I totally respect that you're optimistic about it. To me, I'm fucking pissed.
Right.
When I see $10,000, I'm like,
right.
really?
That's it?
Really?
Oh my
Fuck,
God.
I've known this guy for 4 months. We've raised $1,000 a month since I met him.
But here's the thing.
You know?
Here's the thing. Here's the beauty of it, though.
I've spent more than that since
Right.
I met you, man.
Right.
You know, unfortunately I can't spend it on your stuff because I'm spending it on all.
And that's why.
But I know.
That's why. Because the people that we're speaking to,
Yeah.
I haven't gotten in rooms with. I think Jay-Z, 50 Cent.
Yeah.
I think Oprah.
Yeah.
I think on the low.
Yeah.
When they're aware of what I'm doing, just like Coleon did. He said, hell yeah, $1,000 off top. Never met him before. Before I did his show, any of that. I think when I continue to go up this ladder and people see that, okay, he's just not this radical reverse racist dude. He actually is a patriot.
Yes.
That's being objective, up the middle. His ego's out of it. He's confident. He's humble where he needs to be. When they see that, they need to see that. They need to see me on Hannity and dealing with things, and they need to see my media training, even though I never got media training. Right. When they see those things, they go...
You got the best kind of media training.
Right. Do it.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that then they'll go, that anonymous check will show up. I don't think that they're aware of me yet. I know that Trump's people are aware of me.
They are?
Absolutely.
Interesting. Okay.
When I did the DNC, one of Trump's people was there.
Okay.
And he said, Maj Toure. And I'm like, who are you? He's like, I'm whatever he was for Trump's people. And he said, I'm a big fan.
He recognized you
Yes.
in person and said he was a big fan.
Yes, it was
Wow.
me, Rudy Giuliani, Geraldo Rivera,
Nice.
Hannity, and some other people. So I come in, you know, the Secret Service move, because Obama was there. Secret Service moves you in waves, you know, because the president's in the building. And he said that. The irony is a lot of the things that I say now on the media, Trump says them right a week or two after. I was asked the question.
I noticed that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was asked the question about an article about someone. Bill Clinton made a statement about trying to get Syrian refugees to rebuild Detroit, and I did an article and I talked about why don't we get people from ex-offenders or people from Detroit to actually come build Detroit.
Right.
Trump got into wherever city, Detroit. And he said the same exact thing. They're aware. I have no doubt in my mind that Hannity told me, do you have guys at the NRA? Hannity's friends with Trump. I've done Hannity's show. It's not my circle of, my degrees of separation are getting shorter.
Yes, they are.
You know? So, which is why I move different too. My security is always at risk. I've given my life to this.
I hear you.
You know, so those guys on that level, when I get a little bit more notoriety in that sense and funnel that notoriety back into actual programs, and maybe they need to see me run through a few more cities on this tour. Or is it just a GoFundMe money grab? Because it could have been. It could have been this guy saying all the right things and...
Right.
We need to, okay, damn, he did Chicago. Damn, he did Baltimore. Damn, he does Philly in between those. Damn, he goes to other cities even that out of his own pocket that aren't on the tour. Okay, we're documenting this. Now let's say when I get to 12.5, somebody goes, send 100,000 to his GoFundMe. Maybe, and that would be awesome. You know? But I don't think on that level a lot of those guys, athletes, because they be zoned in too.
Right.
More so than politicians or, you know, just speakers. Athletes have an insane level of focus.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's not this game, I can't even, their handlers do not bring him anything social media related.
Interesting. Okay.
You
No,
know?
that's a good take on it. Because the one thing, I know a few players from the Chargers, and the one thing I know about them is every single week they get a massive amount of information about the next game. And I mean, you know, Phillip Rivers has a studio in his house, or a theater in his house, where he'll literally sit there 8 hours a day and watch DVDs.
Of football.
Of nothing, like play by play in slow motion, like the same play for an hour.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, oh, that's okay. Peyton drops back. He takes 7.5 steps and then looks this way.
When he's faking, this is his tail sign.
Yeah.
So that insane amount of focus is something, especially in Kaepernick, because you were trying to fight to get the start and roll again.
Right.
I am the least of
That's a
concerns.
good point. That's a good point.
You know what I mean? And then maybe at the end of the season, somebody will go, "Hey, you need to see this guy doing this thing."
Right.
You know, and I remain optimistic. Whatever's meant for me is gonna come.
Okay.
Nothing can stop that.
I love that. Wow. Okay, so in Philly, what are the laws? If I wanted to carry a gun, what would I need to know?
Come see Jose. Go through the paperwork. Get your concealed. You can go get your background check.
Okay.
Your criminal and character background check. Fill the paperwork out. Dump it off across, because we're literally across the street from the licensing unit that does that.
Okay.
Fill it out. Wait for them to call you to come pick your joint up. It might take 2 months for them to call you to say, "Hey, your card's here. Come pick it up."
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And then you can carry concealed.
Yep.
There's no open carry in Pennsylvania, or is there?
Pennsylvania is an open carry state.
Okay.
But because Philadelphia is technically called a city of the first class, what they do is they try to make ordinances or statutes that
so they can limit the state law locally.
They can't.
Okay.
They can.
But they're trying.
They have.
Okay.
They have.
Nevada did that too, and I think the Nevada court said no.
Right. But see, what happened was the NRA said, "Oh, well, that's not right."
Right.
So they fought it all the way up to the state Supreme Court level, and then the state Supreme Court said, "Well, you're right, NRA, but this has to get thrown out because you're not a resident of Philadelphia."
I got you. They didn't have standing?
Right.
Okay.
So there's this thing called preemption,
Okay.
where, until somebody...
Philadelphia, Commonwealth state, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So until
slightly
someone's-
different law system than California.
Yeah.
Okay.
So until someone shows that they've been harmed by this statute, even though clearly this statute is in direct conflict with state constitution, Pennsylvania is an open carry state. Until someone... It's like a bully.
So you need a brother that gets killed because he can't open carry to then make a case to fight this.
That would be a good.
I mean, essentially, right? Or something along those lines.
What
A human, let me say that.
Right. What I plan on doing is, after I get more of the tour done and I'm in
Okay.
a different space,
Okay.
I plan on calling the media and getting arrested in Love Park or State Park.
For
From
open
open
carry.
carry.
Okay. I got you.
And then go through that process and fight it all the way up to the state Supreme Court level, because I am a resident of Philadelphia.
But in doing that, you might jeopardize your CCW, right?
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So you are committed.
Right.
All right.
Because I know I'm right.
Right.
See, slavery was legal.
Mm-hmm.
Shit wasn't right.
Right. I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What we're talking about is right. Y'all are just trying to for Philadelphia because we're the only city in the entire state that has over 1 million people. Because it's about people control.
it's a population. The city of first class is over 1 million?
Mhm.
Okay.
We're the only one in the state of Pennsylvania.
So you pass a state law that's written so that it doesn't say Philadelphia, but it's written such that it only affects Philadelphia.
Right. It ain't even a state law. It's a city ordinance.
Okay, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, cool. And I know I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all know y'all wrong. Y'all just don't have people that'll be on your ass. Like the NRA could have been on your ass, but the state had the Supreme Court threw it out because I got plenty of time to be on your ass. I could be on your ass all day. You know what I mean? So I'm a little bit different. And the general public, they got, school, work, children, jobs. That's why it's such fuckboy shit, because y'all place the school planning budget in the middle of the day when you know that mom can't get there. It's all part of the game. I represent a change in that game because I'm gonna be at the meeting. I'm gonna get all of the information. You're gonna think I'm the ignorant dude just sitting in the back with the hoodie. I'm gonna translate all of that information and I'm gonna bring it to the hood. And I'm gonna get them on board for the Second Amendment fight. That way we can protect and defend all of our other rights and human rights and beliefs. And that's what I represent.
Okay. Recently, there was a Black Lives Matter situation in San Diego in El Cajon. There was a gentleman that was killed. Mm-hmm. And I went down and interviewed folks, and they actually invited me to march with them, mm-hmm. just to cover it. And it was a fascinating time. The one thing I noticed, though, it was interesting. The first night I went down there, I just went to meet people, you know, and one of the women asked me, for my email address. And what I said to her was, sure, here's my email. She said, we'll call you in the morning, or we'll email you tonight. I said, do people have Periscope? And she said, Periscope, what's that? I said, y'all are running a protest and you don't know what Periscope is?
Right.
Tell everybody to download Periscope and just come tomorrow ready to use up data.
Right.
Tell them that they're going to use up all the data on their phone plan, so that's going to suck, but they're going to be safer because they have Periscope.
Live.
Right. And the lady goes, well, you don't understand. They took away cameras at the scene. I said, okay, how many cameras? She said 10. I said, okay, that was 10 people, and I guarantee none of them were streaming live.
Right.
I said, if there's 100 of us streaming live,
You're not
and they take away two phones, the other 98 people just became a whole lot more powerful in this world, right?
Yep.
I said, I guarantee you, they will not try to take away all 100 phones
Right.
if they know the first 2 were streaming or the other 98 are streaming.
Right.
What's your experience? Are people that you know streaming live video? Are they using things like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I personally don't really do marches. I protest, but
Okay.
I don't do marches.
No, that's
To
fine.
me, a lot of times I'll be strapped.
Right.
And they'll use me being strapped as the justification for, and like the guy that they said, this is the guy that we're looking for that had the shooting.
In Dallas.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was like, that's not who that is. That's not what happened.
No.
But if they would have been periscoping live, it would be like, no, that's not him. He's right here.
Well, I think that's actually what happened. I believe there was a black woman in the background who
Right.
showed somebody the phone. And,
Right.
And, I think I seem to believe, or I
Right.
seem to remember the police changing their posture when
Right.
she showed them that.
And that's what I'm saying. And so we got to use every available tool.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of the people that I do know that go down to, the protesting as far as the marching, even if it's for dumb reasons, they're still, so they're doing that, which creates a paper trail.
Okay.
So yeah, in that sense, and yeah, social media has been extremely powerful for what we're doing, and yeah, absolutely, you should. If you out there, to that capacity, and just to monitor, and because sometimes a lot of these guys, they're peaceful protests.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening in North Dakota now, like
The
the pipeline.
Standing Rock.
Yeah, I'm like, where are y'all guns at? Because I was totally with the Bundy situation. Yo, they had it. They were well within their legal. Look, this ain't right. We are prepared to stay here. We are an organized, freestanding, well-regulated militia opposing tyranny. And all of those, people got acquitted. Jury of their peers. Hooray for those guys. North Dakota Standing Rock situation, nobody's got a firearm. The police are doing whatever they want.
Sicking dogs on people.
Sicking dogs on people like it's the 1920s. I mean, how much more disrespect? We have an ugly history in America, especially in interacting with people native to this land. The great push westward. So in 2016, y'all doing similar shit for a pipeline that clearly there's been this many spills in the last however many years. They have a legitimate reasoning to say no. But yet again, the firearms left out of it. And that's their choice. But to me, I'm strapped. So my thought process is me going to these things, me personally, and being strapped, that one, whoever's the person that will want chaos, could try to use me, regardless of if I'm a concealed carrier or hold. They go, well, he's printing, he's got a gun. Then it turns into a shootout. No, because I'm not making it home. So sometimes it's been more beneficial for me to, in my position on the chessboard and the way that I view things, or if I go, I'm not strapped, but yeah, social media at that point becomes the gun, because it's it's the telltale. That's not what happened. That's not like when they was like the guy that got shot by the police and they said he was on PCP or whatever and he was in his truck.
Here locally?
No, it was in I think it was North Carolina.
Okay.
But they said he was on PCP and it wasn't even a white cop that shot him, it was a black cop. And then the footage came out and it's like, nah, clearly somebody just like stop the bullshit. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who it was, it's like 'cause you're blue in that uniform, but you didn't handle the protocol properly.
Right.
Somebody's dead now. So the camera is the gun at that point, and it's like, and then other times I understand why some people say, well, it doesn't matter. Because we have footage of Philando Castile being murdered in front of his family. We have footage of Eric, Garner being choked to death. for cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
The difference in these scenarios is, my position is, we're going to maintain this code of conduct in dealing with any law enforcement officer. If that officer decides to break that code of conduct, I am well within my rights to defend my life. What you do for employment has no bearing on that. We have a code of conduct. How you doing, sir? Pulled you over because of, okay, here's my license, my registration, my insurance. Write me the ticket. Mm-hmm. Get your revenue generating for the state. We move on. Or I go, no, I wasn't speeding, and I'll deal with that in court.
Have you ever told an officer that pulled you over for speeding that you weren't speeding?
If an officer pulled me over for speeding, I was speeding, which is why I don't speed anymore.
Okay. Well, I got pulled over in Florida. Mm-hmm. Irrelevant, but by a black cop.
Right.
You know, it wasn't a racial situation, but you know, it was a black cop. And I was pulled over basically. I was going into Homestead, Florida, had my windows open late at night, loud music, you know, getting my Rolling Stones on, right? Because I'm fucking falling asleep and I got to get to Key West. You know? And but literally, cop pulls me over, tells me I was going 55 and a 40. I'm like, first of all, officer, it's a 45. Second of all, I had my GPS set and I was going 40. And he goes, well, I think I'm going to let you off with a warning tonight. I'm like, really? Interesting. Do you have the evidence that shows that I was actually speeding?
Well, you just
he goes, no, sir, no. Don't worry about it. You know, it's, you know, and I'm like, bullshit. You pulled me over because you thought I was drunk.
Right.
You know?
You saw the thing, and that's cool. You profiled the bit, and you were wrong, and I called you on it. That part I do, but not.
Now, would you feel comfortable saying that to a white cop, that you weren't speeding?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I feel comfortable doing it.
Or you just take the ticket and fight it in court?
Nah, it depends on. It depends. No, I don't fight it right there.
Okay.
I first ask, why did you pull me over?
Right.
And I'm probably recording the whole situation.
Right.
Or I pulled you over because your tail light was out. That's usually what they use in the city.
Right, in the hood, yeah.
Your tail light, your whatever.
That's why you never let your tail. I check my tail lights whenever I drive, man.
Nope, it's legit.
Even as a white guy.
Right.
You know?
You're not going to get me with that ticket.
Yeah.
So, usually it depends on what car I'm driving that day. You know, I used to get it a lot when I had a Buick with huge rims and tint, even though it was the legal amount of tint. I got smart, and when they would say, well, your tint's too dark, I would show them this under 30% as per Pennsylvania law. Conversation should be over.
Right.
A lot of times when I'm articulate and I express that to them, it does the same thing. They go, all right, well, man, you cool. Okay, I thought, you know, cool. There's 20 other, in their mind, there's 20 other people that I can get that aren't going to give me this. And if it starts to become a little bit too much, you're right. Write me the ticket. The first thing that I'm going to do, see you in court. I'm going to fuck your whole thing up, though. Because you're writing me a ticket based on the day that you're scheduled to do court. Because you have your court days, your Tuesday or your Thursday. The first thing I'm going to do is request a continuance. Switch that shit all the way up. And I'm going to be there for $36. I don't give a shit. I'm going to hound you. See, the problem is...
Because that's your right.
That's
it's
my
a legal
right.
process, right?
And I'm going to go through this whole process. I got time to be on your ass. That's how y'all win. Because people, I'm going to just... no.
Just pay it, right?
No.
$36. Just pay it.
No, that's my $36. That I will...
And for me, it's not the $36. It's the issue, right? Yeah.
And I'm going to show you, even if I lose, and if I rumble you all the way out, you're a bully to me. Yep. You might actually be bigger and stronger and can fight better than me. I'm going to exhaust every possibility to show you that you might not want to do this to the next person.
Right.
The whole purpose of Black Guns Matter. This fight is for people that I may never meet in my life. I may never see. That's a patriot. Mm-hmm. You know, and we got to get out of that definition of making it look like it's got to be the George Washington wig dude. It's just the Mel Gibson movie. No. The people that are fighting against racial oppression, financial oppression, these fucking banking cartels, Wells Fargo, just the fuck. The people that are fighting against that are patriots that are taking their own personal life and making it about people that they may never meet in their life. And we have to have more people doing that. The last president that I felt was on that was Kennedy, Sr. The fuck happened? I mean, there's memes that I see on Instagram and social media. George Washington addresses today's conference, and it's the picture with his hands like this, and the thing says, "What the fuck?" It's like, what the fuck? What happened? We got in bed. We forgot about hard work. We outsourcing our freedom. We outsourcing our jobs. Philadelphia was a manufacturing haven. Detroit, manufacturing haven. Jobs. That's when the Great Migration happened. All these black people, strong people, started going to these big cities and getting work. Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, all of these places. Newark, New Jersey.
Good money.
Good money. We started outsourcing. You know? Hardcore work ethic. Now we outsourced the Mint. You can't even get in the Mint damn near now in Philadelphia.
Oh, because it's an armed camp, right? I mean, you know, I was in D.C. yesterday. I couldn't go to the bathroom without going through TSA level security.
You understand?
And they're looking at me, they go, "What's the problem?" I'm like, dude, it's like, I'm not going to tell you what the problem is.
If you don't know, you
right.
are
I mean,
the fucking problem.
obviously have contraband in my pocket. I don't want to go through TSA with a pocket knife, right? But I got to pee. So what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm by myself. I can't, what am I going to leave my knife in the bush?
Because I'm going to blow this
You don't want me to
whole
leave my
building
knife
up.
in the bush, right? Yeah, and somehow with my tiny little camera bag, I'm going to blow up the whole National Aerospace Museum.
And that's what I'm saying.
You still recording?
Yeah.
These are the things that we've gotten away from.
Yep.
We're in a space where people from the hood got to join this fight. Because that's George Washington and those cats were hood cats. He was like, man, fuck this, man. This is some bullshit.
Even though they were rich, they were all smugglers, man.
They were
I think
smugglers.
they had a different attitude.
They were the criminals.
Right.
I mean, technically, now everybody's like, if you bounce a check in certain states, that's a felony.
Right,
and not because you were trying to get over. You just, fuck.
Because they want to make it a felony.
Right. And so it's like, yo, man, we got to get back to that thought process, and that's why the hood is necessary. Because we used to being called, that shit don't hurt me. You call me a bad name. So what? I'm dealing with 4 children, under $30,000 a year, a job that I don't like. Why wouldn't I fight for more of my freedoms and my rights and my money? We already at the bottom. We're already at the bottom. And it's like, they want to make it about a race thing, but it's like, yo, what I mean? My white homies is, man, you grew up the same way I grew up. Mm-hmm. There is an opposition, there is an active process in trying to make the American public just submit and accept scraps. So the people at the top can just fucking throw money at each other. That shit is criminal. And if the hood gets involved, we expose that bullshit real quick. And y'all can evolve, because you're not fit to serve. You can either evolve, or you get the fuck out of there. Mm-hmm. And that's what's necessary. These are not, Thomas Jefferson, every 19 years there needs to be an armed revolution. Every so often the tree of freedom needs to be refreshed with the blood of tyrants and patriots.
Okay, so you mentioned Philly. You grew up here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When did Philly stop being the urban center that it was, the manufacturing powerhouse that it was,
mm-hmm.
and when did it begin a decline?
It began to decline in the late 60s, early 70s.
Okay.
Right after civil rights.
Now that's ironic. You would think that it would go up from there. Why would that be?
Because the civil rights movement wasn't really a civil rights movement. It was a consumer rights movement. The black economy was flourishing. They don't fuck with us. We got to build our own shit. We have to be responsible for our own shit because we can't go over there. They will hit us with stuff. We have to build our thing. Not out of just we don't like y'all.
Right.
We're actually some of the most forgiving and spiritual people in dealing with this shit. Because if we wasn't, every white person would be dead.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
So it's like, all right, well, I don't fuck with it, so all right. Then when it now it's like Rosewood.
So back then, what you're saying is that they took care of their own because they had to.
Right.
They had no other choice. Okay.
Now you're walking past all of those businesses that would have been in your community to go because your pride told you you're supposed to go over there and spend your money. When you're supposed to build whatever community you live in, white, black, I don't give a shit. If you white and you live in North Philly, hey man, don't throw that shit on the street. Pick that shit up, put it in our trash can. If you black and you live in a white neighborhood, yo man, don't throw that shit on the street. Put that shit in our trash can. It's community.
Right.
When they made it about race and we shall overcome the right to take our dollar somewhere into another, what they didn't tell you was their money was fucked up. Like Rosewood, that was a flourishing community. Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, these are flourishing communities. And y'all on the outskirts, y'all shit wasn't the same level of popping. So not only did we burn down Black Wall Street and destroy hundreds and hundreds of businesses, we left it. These are American travesties. So how that reflects to Philadelphia is when you have scenarios where, you know, that movement happens, that simultaneously while you're saying civil rights, these people that were saying, yeah, we want to be able to, and I get it, you want to be able to spend wherever you want to spend or go wherever you want to go. Just freedom of movement. The part they left out was you're now leaving the businesses in your community. Now, if those businesses aren't flourishing and manufacturing don't flourish, then you double down on that with manufacturing jobs in China going, hey, we'll do it. And those people that run those businesses having no attachment to the communities, all right, well, fuck it, we outsourcing. Gone. 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 No pride in American built. No pride in we've developed jobs. I know weed distributors that have more pride in, no, man, we're going to keep the weed here. And we're going to make sure everybody has a job. And it's a science that works because in a second, when it becomes legal in Pennsylvania, watch GlaxoSmithKline do the same thing that my friends is doing football numbers for weed. You understand? So it's the same business. And it's just, we did not have pride in, we put the dollar over the people.
Okay.
And such and so. Then the government dropped crack. That's what shit was a government job.
And that was
70s, late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Then now crack is the new job. Now whole communities is fucking getting destroyed wholesale. Family life destroyed. Now this is a well orchestrated, concentrated attack. This isn't an accident. At the same time, Reagan and Reaganomics split the National Guard troops in half. Let that coke in, that Iran-Contra shit. Got with black people, told them Freeway Ricky Ross, who's did his time, is out and said there were federal agents that showed me how to do this. Now spread it. Now when it spreads past this intended area, now it's an issue. So we're dealing with the same thing with heroin and pills now. We're seeing that in crystal meth. It's in the white communities now, so it's like, oh shit. You know,
how did that get out of the plantation
the intended area that we wanted this shit in? And so when you have that, and I understand it, it's business.
Yeah.
I get it. But with that being the case, all of those holistic attacks on a framework or a community, I don't give a fuck if it was the white community. It's going to destabilize that community. They did the same. I mean, it's the same thing that they did with Jamaica, with powdered milk. You destabilize an economy with fucking money. And okay, you guys, your chief export is sugar cane. The Domino Sugar Factory destroyed that shit. Powdered milk in areas where your chief export is this type of milk. We could powder and process it for cheaper. And now your chief export, well, I can get it from your country for cheaper. They middleman you. It's all the same. It destabilizing nations, destabilizing a character, destabilizing a person that's why I openly say, hey, I'm a reformed scumbag. I did everything wrong. I'll drink too much. I chase too many women. Everything is wrong with me. But this is right. Mm-hmm. Because at a certain point, if this keeps spearheading, they're going to go, well, Maj Toure was the womanizer of the womanizers. Okay, cool. That don't change what the fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was a holistic approach. And it wasn't just Philly. It was all of those strong manufacturing centers across the nation, you know. When that great migration happened, that's why so many people from, you know, Detroit, Chicago, Philly, you know, those biggest cities, their lineage can be traced. There may be 1 or 2 generations removed from southern states, you know. And that migration happened because that's where the jobs was at. And then when that went and when they did that, it's about people control. You cannot constantly empower the people, especially large sections of it, urban centers, if you want to control them. If they money right, their mind right, their health is right, and their defense is right, now you got to deal with them inequality as opposed to inequality. You know what I mean? And so instead of you having $8 trillion, now you got to have $4 trillion, which is far more than enough. But you're so fucking greedy at this 1% level. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm just waiting for them to come fucking try to buy me. I'll let everybody know if I sell out. I'll tell everybody, hey y'all, I'm compromised. You know what I mean? Or no, look at what they did.
you need a code word.
Right.
If Maj,
bananas.
Right,
Bananas on
Maj
Tuesday.
just tweeted bananas.
It's over,
man.
It's over. He got the Bentley. It's over.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know. But, and again, my understanding of it is based on, I read everything. Mm-hmm. You can't keep shit from me. I'm not using this iPhone 6 Plus for fucking Candy Crush. Right. You know what I mean? So I represent, and I'm not separated from my hood. You know, there's this movie that said, it was a clip, and they said, I forget what movie it is. He said, well, you make it hard for us. You bring the blacks and the liberals. You liberals, you make it hard for us. You bring the blacks out of their community and you give them jobs. You give them such. You give them such. And he said, well, no, that's what you have to do. We only give the smart ones the jobs. Because when we bring him into our community, he feels compelled to be like us. Then when he changes, his community sees that he's different and they shun him. But if we leave him amongst the people, he may become a leader. I am that leader.
Mm-hmm. Why do other people shun you when you become more powerful? Other people from your own community treat you differently.
They would treat me different. They would treat me differently if I follow suit to what normally happens. I maybe I'm wrong because I don't know what $100 million bring. I don't know. Right. So I'm gonna just be objective even on myself. Right, yeah. I like women. They might go, we're gonna give you $100 million, an island, your own fucking this section of the Malibu coastline to shut the fuck up. They may. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what that brings, but I very, I doubt highly that I talk too much. I doubt highly that I could get plugged back into that matrix. So because I don't move the way normally that how this goes traditionally, if I did, then my hood would shun me. He ain't one of us no more. He went somewhere else. He tweeted bananas. It's over. Then they would shun me. But it wouldn't matter because I got Amber Rose and whoever in this section of my Malibu coastline and my $100 million. You know, so, but presently...
Amber Rose might be worth it.
Yo, she's hot. Listen, I don't follow celebrities, but I follow her. And she's from Philly, so I know she's tough.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, very, very.
But it's like, the shun happens because, the general public, we need a leader. Not a boss. We need a leader. I represent that leadership because I'm out there doing the shit too. Right. We have been betrayed thoroughly, consistently, repetitively by people that we thought were our leaders. They took the Jesse Jackson deal. They took the banana deal. Not even for the $100 million. Not even enough trinkets for the motherfuckers to go, well, damn, you did get a whole fucking coastline of the Malibu situation. Right. You just did it for more press. Right. And attention and some whatevers.
Like, what was it? I think they paid like the Indians $1,000 for Manhattan or something like that, right?
You know what I'm saying? Some beans and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so we've been thoroughly taken advantage of and misdirected by people that we thought were leaders. And the ones that wouldn't rumble, you know, the Malcolms, they shot him. The Martins, they shot him. They're not gonna fucking shoot me. I'll shoot back. I'll shoot first. You know. But yeah, we've been Tupac shot. We've been taken advantage of. So they would have every right to shun me. They should do this to me. Fuck you. You're another one of those guys. Fuck you. You got our hopes up. You know how much high hopes I had for the Obama presidency in 08?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck that shit. You know what I mean? He gonna get in there.
You thought that was gonna fix everything?
Not everything, but I had
a lot.
At least fucking weed.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, at least the first thing you did was re-sign the Patriot Act.
Right.
Fuck you, man. That is the most fucking corrosive piece of legislation since the Mulford Act, in my opinion. That shit is talking about conquering your neighborhood, conquering the food that you eat, the stuff that you use to make food. What type of freedom is that? That's not a Patriot Act. That's a terrorist act. Foreign and domestic. No.
It's right there in the Constitution.
No. I had such high hopes. Nothing. So cool. I can't, and don't get me wrong. He probably has to endure shit. I would have been slapped the shit. To get to that level, I would have been smacked the shit out of a bunch of people. Right. I'm from Philly. Right. You know what I'm saying? I would have been slapped people. What you say? I would have, this is just me. That level of bullshit, I'm not going to be good at it. Which is why when people ask me, why don't you run for office? I'm going to hurt one of you. Because I see the little sick fucking game that you're playing, and the people that I care about are dying because of the game that you're playing. So I'd have been fucked somebody up. We can't take Maj Toure anywhere. I know he's the city councilman, but he's always so ready to fight. Right. Because at what point we're in the pussification of America? Like what you're supposed to be. If you're looking around and not like enraged at this shit. Like enraged. I was in Chicago. They have to fill out a card to get a goddamn gun.
Do you have a counterpart there? Do you have anybody that is doing a similar kind of thing there, or have you ever met one of those in any of the cities you go to?
I mean, I have a rag. We scattered. That's why I try to link up with whoever's doing anything in whatever city. Right. Especially trainers. And lawyers, because lawyers are gatekeepers, and whatever,
Okay, that's an interesting way of looking at it, yeah.
So they can speak the languages that even if I speak it, they're certified to speak it in court.
Correct.
Like I can hire them as amicus counsel and, whatever, friendly counsel or whatever, but that's just for me. For me to hook them up with, I can't speak for my home. Y'all can though. So I find those type of people and try to find them in each area. And that's why my ego got to get out of it. Because I gotta go, hey everybody, come on, the press likes me. Now come to Atlanta, and then go, you guys teach the situation. In Chicago,
where are you going in Atlanta?
I'm going to Stoddard's gun range.
Okay.
And in Chicago, we were at the
I was just in Atlanta too.
Yeah, and it's a strong gun community there.
We could go.
You know what I mean? And in Chicago, Rick Ector from Detroit, he has this organization called Legally Armed in Detroit. He's actually running to be on the NRA board of directors.
Nice.
He actually was there. I don't think he knew that I knew who he was.
Right.
And I was like, yo, you're going to come teach this section of the class. And I stepped back and let Rick, who's way more important in this game than I am, let him teach. Jose, way more certified and solid in this game than I am. So you got to put your ego out of it. I know what my lane is. And I attract those people and put them into, because they're in your city. Mm-hmm. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go back to, try to get Amber Rose or something, but these people are relationships that you have to foster in your community when I leave, so I definitely try to find those people in every city.
So do you see yourself as a facilitator?
I'm a facilitator. I'm a motivator. I am a deplorable. Mm-hmm. I am a Republican. I am an independent. I am a Democrat. I practice the democratic principles or practices. Mm-hmm. I'm whatever our community needs me to be. And if that means I got to link, if I got to be the translator and the linker and the facilitator, then so be it. If I got to learn a little bit more, Jose keep trying to get me to get certified as an instructor because that'll give me a different lane. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if that's what it comes to, and if I need to be, I'm gonna be whatever I need to be, and I'm a patriot. Those guys did whatever was Malcolm X's house got firebombed. And he still was at it. Like firebombed. Like not even like I get shooting me. But goddamn, a firebomb? Dude, like a Molotov? And he still was rumbling. That's patriotic. You know? Patrick Henry. I mean, like, think about that. Give me liberty or give me death. Like, I mean, like it sounds cliche because we hear it a lot, but like to wrap your mind around that.
Everybody who signed the Declaration of Independence potentially was signing their own death warrant.
You feel
if
me?
They lost.
If you lose, you are the bad guy.
Right. I mean, it was, what, I forget, 100 signatures? I should know the exact number, but...
The highest of treason.
Yes. You told the king to go pound sand. We're not paying your taxes. You know, that's a pretty powerful concept in a world where there is no government in the world at the time.
But this...
That looked at... Well, this one didn't even exist yet.
No. I mean,
basically
the one
saying,
that you... Right. Yeah. That's Tupac shit. That is George... That is the... Fuck you.
Yeah.
Those are the same. Hip-hop culture, the urban demographic understands that. They've just been isolated and told that this story over here wasn't for you. And it's not. It is for you. You know? And, I mean, man, this shit is so love to me. I love it. I love that it's gambling. Because if I'm right, you look like the smartest.
You save a lot of lives, man.
Absolutely.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
There's no question you're right.
But if we win.
Right.
If I lose.
Right.
The hood's still going to respect me, so I'm solid with that.
Right.
You know, but the things that I'm doing, it's going to... The best way to rile shit up is to fuck with the money. I'm fucking with the money.
How do you react to people that say... by doing what you're doing, it's like a victim blaming kind of thing, you know. I had somebody say to me recently in Atlanta that nobody should have to train black people how to act differently with police so they don't get killed.
Well, we should.
You know, but you know, in a sense, you do. I mean, that's what you do. So how do you defend that? You know, how do you say I'm not a victim blamer? I'm just trying to save a life.
I'm not a victim blamer at all because. Right. I've had this conversation in regards to the Philando Castile thing.
Right. Yeah.
I wasn't there, so I don't know the ins and outs.
Right, yeah.
But from what I see, I train people, humans, to... I don't... If you're around me at nighttime in North Philly, do not make a fucking sudden move around me. Don't move quick, man.
Right.
Do not move quick. Hey, man, and that's me. So certain law enforcement officers, I don't know what his day was like. Somebody might have pulled a gun on him yesterday, or maybe not. But I train people, the code of conduct and the standard of professionalism. I'm going to make sure that you understand that I'm not the bad guy. You're going to have the code of conduct that makes me understand that you're not the bad guy as a law enforcement officer.
Two-way street.
It's a two-way street. If we maintain that code of conduct, I'm able to get past whatever type of biases or preconceived notions, correct or incorrect, that you have. That's just standard operational procedure. That's just military scientific. Everybody should do that. Black, white, green, purple. I don't give a shit. When you are interacting with the state and its foot soldiers, aka law enforcement, I don't know who you are behind that uniform. What you do and how we handle this determines. Oh, okay. Because he might go, nah, you know what? You were a little bit speeding, but hey, I just wanted to slow it down because, you know, it's a little slippery up there. Da-da-da. You know what? Appreciate that, man.
Right.
Boom, we move on. So if we do that and it's, all right, so now I'm going to check your car. No, you're not.
Right.
That's outside of the protocol.
Not without PC.
Not without PC. Oh, well, I smell marijuana. Unfortunately, that's not cause for PC. So with that being the case, when people say that's not victim blaming, that's maintaining a code of professionalism that forces law enforcement to understand that I am a human, you will respect me as such, and you do not supersede me. You work for me, not the other way around. You're here to maintain law and order. And if I'm doing something that could jeopardize myself and other people's well-being, I understand you stepping in and going, oh, you're speeding 90 into 40. Chill out. Or write me the ticket. But when it goes into you just supposed to do what I'm supposed to do because I have this uniform on, fuck no. That's outside of the code of conduct. So that's not victim blaming at all. That's saying we're going to make sure that I don't give nobody room to play themselves on me. I'm not leaving my laptop on the bus open. I don't want to put you in a position where your poverty makes you think that you need to snatch my $2,000 MacBook. I don't want to put you in that position to chase you down and beat the fuck out of you. I want to be responsible for what, you know what? It's lunch meat out here. I could look like lunch meat if I do this. Let me not put somebody, because I'm not lunch meat. And you might think I am. So let me not do something that makes you think I am. Now, if you go further and try to snatch my bag and my computer, now I clearly am on your ass. You know, so it's just a maintaining a code of conduct. And when someone says things like that, well, I shouldn't have to what they're not factoring in is black people in America are the only group of people that we didn't come here fucking willingly for the most part. And we didn't have 300-400 years of slavery happen. And we didn't live through Jim Crow. All gun control laws come from direct out of Jim Crow and slavery, emancipation. Right. That was designed for us. So when somebody says, well, you shouldn't have, well, I should have been on the coast of fucking South Africa where I was at. Or my lineage was at. But that's changed now. So now we here. And now the mentality that persisted for so long, we're doing things to break that mentality until those dinosaurs die out. So if they're saying those things and they're not factoring in that, they're missing a big portion. It's like a plot point in a movie. You can't just start and like skip to 4 scenes. The fuck? What is the plot points? You're missing those 4 scenes. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you know those scenes and if you're still saying that, you a dickhead. If you're saying that, knowing this scenario, we're not talking about constantly removing individual accountability. That's not what we're talking about. But if we're talking about ignoring the facts of what happened, if we're talking about what the fucking water in Flint, Michigan, that governor did that. If you acting like that's not what it is, you're a dickhead. And I can't even really entertain you seriously. Now, if you aren't aware, okay, well, let me give you this literature. You read up on this and let's discuss this after the fact. But so it's either you're just unaware or you being a dick. I can help unaware. You being a dick, I'm not a pussy. So we're not around each other. Simple.
All right, here's okay. So last night, I do this whenever I come into a town. If I'm going to meet with somebody or interview them, I always go by where I'm going to interview them. Mm-hmm. And I ended up staying not too far down the street. Okay. And I actually came back to the Prohibition Room right here, and I didn't realize it was like literally right around the corner. Right. I walked back to there from home to Suites down right at the convention center, middle of the night. Me. Chill. What do you think about that?
You good, especially in this neighborhood.
Okay. Do you think that's nuts for a white guy to go walk around South or this part of Philly?
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think that the general perception that they would have us believe is like even if you was in my part of the woods, North Philly, that you can't, and it's not true. A lot of times I ain't gonna. They might try to rob me first because they can predict me. Mm. You might be a cop.
I look nuts, right?
Yeah, you might be a cop with a crazy. Why is this crazy white dude walk? Do he know? No, something ain't right there. He probably strapped. Or they go, he's a racist. He probably want to come down here and kill black people. Whatever's going the fuck on in their mind. Okay. So no, but that's just in my neighborhood. Right. But my neighborhood's getting gentrified. Temple University's,
Okay. Yeah.
But here, Spring Garden to downtown, nah, you good. Okay. Spring Garden to Racing Vine, that's the train stop in between. You good. Okay.
Yeah, the bartender said if somebody asks for the time, you might want to.
That's it.
Boogie.
If you gotta know what time it is.
Right.
So in that sense, yeah. But at the same time, it's not as wild west as they would have. Like for example, I was in Chicago last week, a couple weeks ago, whatever. I went to the movies.
It's not running, gunning out in the street, man. Come on.
No, it's not. This is American soil. These are good citizens. Right. It's very few dickheads. You know what I'm saying? It's very few. In Philly, we talk. Our arguments seem like they're arguments, but we just talking about why the Eagles should do whatever they did or didn't do.
Right.
And it can become very, because it's a blue collar town. No, fuck that. They should have done it. And you think, oh my God, this shit is about to happen. And it's not. It's just communication.
It's just two Philadelphians arguing about the Philly or the Eagles. Right.
So I think that what happens is the media portrays it because they have their own agenda.
Right.
They have to portray it like it's just you going into Fallujah, and you're not.
Nope.
It's good. I say this all the time. It's good soil. We're good people. We in a fucked up situation, and on one side we getting hamstringed by legislation, and on the other side we getting handled by the people that receive that lie from the media. Police officers suffer from that a lot. They think that they're dealing with everybody like they're the scumbags.
Okay.
And it's a small percentage of scumbags. They just all happen to wear the same Nike sweatsuit. You'll see this uniform a bunch as you move around.
Okay.
You know, you'll see the Nike sweatsuit. You see it's hoodie season. It's easy. It's, you know, a lot of dope dealers wear this. It's easy. I can hide my gun in it. You know, whatever. It's not too cold. I can wear a sweatsuit. You know, so they've been fed the same lie from the same unseen hand that's playing everybody against each other. It's what I call a beautiful ugly. It's beautiful in its precision, but the intent is so ugly. You know.
So okay. So you believe that in a like, let's say, you know, oh yeah, there's a crowd of 200 people on the street. Mm-hmm. You believe that when the lieutenant gives the order for the police to do whatever they're going to do, he's feeding them a bigger scenario than it actually is, so that when they arrive, they react in a way that's inappropriate.
Not even just the lieutenant. It's they've been conditioned by the media before they even talk to the lieutenant.
Oh, okay, I got you.
They got years of believing that motherfuckers in North Philly is just all crazy.
So any kind of thing there needs to just be slapped down.
Which is why I don't make furtive movements. Because I know that you have that. You're a victim of the same matrix that I was. Right. Your conditioning is just a little bit different than mine. But it's still conditioning. Which is why I tell my people, don't make no furtive movements.
Officers, let them see your hands, right?
Slow.
Right.
And, hey, yeah.
But don't, you know.
Ain't no quick.
Because the hands are what kill people.
Right. Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Okay, yeah, so what's going on? Oh, okay. No, it's cool. You need me to take the keys out? You said, now, after 30 seconds of that, you pretty much able to ascertain that I am not John Dillinger.
Right.
You know. Now, if you maintain that certain level of, okay, he just wants to continue. All right, well, I'm going to be very short and professional with him as well. He doesn't feel comfortable warming up. Fine, he has that right. She has that right. You know, but when it starts to spill into a different thing, cool. I mean, I ain't really, we done. Give me the ticket. I'll see you later. If it goes further, let me get your shift commander out here. Yeah, do have you being recorded. Just letting you know. Which is in alignment with Pennsylvania Code of Conduct. Pennsylvania Criminal Code, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? And that's how we're going to maneuver there. You know, but I think for the most part, they're victims. I don't know if they know it yet. They're victims of the same conditioning. That's why so many law enforcement officers love what we're doing at Black Guns Matter. They go, yeah, fucking right. It's good.
How about the chief? Is he taking any position?
No, they duck.
Do you know the chief?
Nope.
But you know other police?
Yeah, I'll be around them a lot.
And a lot of them that like what you're doing.
They go, yo, I got footage of police officers telling me, yeah.
That is awesome.
This shit is what time it is. You know what I mean? Oh, that's funny. Coleon Noir just texted me.
Uh-huh. Nice.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I have footage of officers saying. So as far as the information, how does the information for young brothers that's trying to get themselves together, how does that, the firearm safety and training and education change their mentality?
The firearm safety and training and what they get is going to grow into positive change. It's going to allow that brother or sister to see, to basically self-reflect, as I was speaking of before. They're going to self-reflect. They got this new information. Yeah, I'm on stupid right now, but I just learned that if I do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, then I can do PQH. You know what I'm saying? it's a thing whereas we gotta stop running around here wanting to dummy down everything. You gotta have our brothers and sisters come up instead of dumbing down. Let's get this education going, especially when it comes to these weapons and everything. When it comes to these handguns and all this stuff. Everybody want to do what they see on TV. It ain't about what you see on TV. You know what I'm saying? This is about the real world. You know, and we got these young brothers and sisters that keep trying to, you know, act out what they see in videos and all that other type of stuff. Man, this is real out here. These streets is real. You know what I'm saying? So the bottom line is, we got to start dealing out of reality, dealing with real things out of reality. So let's get these guns. Let's make sure that we're educated. Make sure that we actually learn how to shoot. You know, let's make sure that we practice our gun safety. As you said, you know, guys be having the guns around the house, and these kids are getting these guns, and they shoot their little cousins and all this other kind of stuff. So we just gotta come up, man. We gotta bring our people up. You know, brothers as yourself that's getting out here educated, continue doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to come up with more viable programs to get these young brothers and sisters where they need to be, so that we don't have all this chaos and disaster in our community. You understand?
On the force, 26 years.
Impressive.
And they don't do that shit on camera.
Right. Well, that was my thinking. I would imagine they're told not to be on camera.
Yep.
By a PR person at the PD. Right?
But that is so honest.
Yeah, very much so.
That, listen, what he's doing is informing people about, this was Chicago.
I didn't get that distinction. Okay, yeah.
That's the murder capital of America this
Right,
year.
right.
More murders than LA and New York combined.
Yep.
On camera. Said it.
Yep.
What you're doing, because I would tell people that all the time.
Yep.
And they're like, get the fuck out. Okay, watch. I'm going to get one of them to say it.
Right.
First one. Yeah, hell yeah. That's smart. And that's the general theme. See, if you're a keeper of the peace, it makes sense.
Right.
One, you got less to do.
Right.
Because there's more people handling their own shit.
Right.
And it's not their responsibility. It's the Supreme Court decision. The police are not obligated to protect you.
Yeah.
So we doing what we need to do. And if you on the side of righteousness and freedom, you down with what we doing too.
Right.
If you not, you the same people sending me hate mail.
You're part of the solution.
Right, you're part of the problem. Die slow.
Yep. Let's leave it there.
No doubt.
Let's leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
You
man.
got a lot of